What's up everybody, Jesse here with the top 5 biggest gaming news stories of the day. We have Far Cry 5 DLC details, the co-creator of Counter-Strike was arrested for horrible reasons, Sony CEO is stepping down from the position, a rumor from an industry insider suggests Microsoft is buying EA, PUBG, and Valve, among other developers. And we have some other smaller pieces of news as well. If you know of any recent big news that I may have missed, comment below to let us all know. And if I use it in a future video, I'll be sure to give you a shout out for bringing it to our attention. Also, let us know if you prefer one larger video like this covering the news, or if you would like shorter, but multiple videos covering only one piece of news. With that out of the way, let's get started with our first piece of news. From Polygon, Far Cry 5 DLC will add zombies, Martian spiders, and a time-traveling trip to Vietnam. Fans of Blood Dragon DLC, take note. Today Ubisoft announced the details of the Far Cry 5 Season Pass. The upgrade will include an updated version of Far Cry 3 as well as 3 bizarre new pieces of downloadable content. Rather than expanding on Far Cry 5's storyline with its first 3 pieces of DLC, Ubisoft is heading in a completely different direction. Dead living zombies will pit players against hordes of the undead, in a zombie-infested wasteland. Hours of Darkness takes players to Vietnam where they will do battle against the Viet Cong. Finally, Lost on Mars zips them into a spacesuit and drops them onto the Red Planet to fight against giant spiders. All 3 experiences stand in stark contrast to Far Cry 5's controversial take on the right-wing extremism in rural Montana. They seem more in line with Blood Dragon, a cyberpunk adventure that surprised fans when it was released as a standalone expansion for Far Cry 3. As it turns out, the included Far Cry 3 Classic Edition will also be a standalone game sold separately. Those who pre-ordered the Far Cry 5 Season Pass will get access to it 4 weeks early. The remaster is described as an update to the classic open-world adventure game. Polygon has reached out to Ubisoft to get details on what, if anything, has changed content-wise from the 2012 release. The Season Pass for Far Cry 5 is available right now, with the gold version of that game, which runs $89.99 for the digital version and $99.99 for a physical. Next, from Kotaku, some controversial news. Counter-Strike co-creator arrested for sexual exploitation of a child. Update, Valve suspends. They wrote, Seattle police arrested Counter-Strike co-creator Jess Cliff, who is 36, early this morning for sexual exploitation of a child. Police have not yet commented further on the case. The arrest record shows that Cliff, who has been an employee of Valve since 2003, was booked at 1:17 a.m. Pacific time this morning. He was denied bail according to the record. Seattle's local KIRO7 news reports that he has not been charged with a crime. Cliff created Counter-Strike alongside designer Min Lee in 1999 as a mod to the critically acclaimed shooter Half-Life. Valve later obtained the rights to Counter-Strike, and it has been one of the most popular multiplayer games in the world for nearly 2 decades. They have an update coming at 9:47 p.m. saying, Valve says it has suspended Cliff, telling Kotaku, we are still learning details of what actually happened. Reports suggest he has been arrested for a felony offense. As such, we have suspended his employment until we know more. Third on our list covers the Final Fantasy 15 release from IGN, where they say, see if your PC can run Final Fantasy 15. You can check if your PC is ready right now. Final Fantasy 15 has almost made its way to PC, arriving on March 6 along with all of its previous updates and DLC. Ahead of its launch, Square Enix has released a free benchmarking tool that will let you see how well your PC will run the game. It's a non-playable demo that runs through a few different game scenarios, including using a summon, riding a chocobo, and cooking some food. You can download the Final Fantasy 15 PC benchmarking tool here. It supports 3 resolutions, 720p, 1080p, and 4K across 3 quality settings, light, standard, and high, though the final game will have more extensive options. The download page goes into more detail about what's different between quality settings. After the benchmark finishes, it will give your PC a score based on how well it performed. You can check rough benchmark scores for a wide variety of graphic cards here, and compare to see how your PC might do. You can also see a full breakdown of what scores mean, but generally, if you get above a 3000, you should be able to run Final Fantasy 15 at those settings without much issue. Lower than 3000, you will need to turn your settings down or deal with performance issues. Or your PC may just not be strong enough at all. Anything 4500 or above and your PC is running the game very well. Square Enix has also released minimum and recommended system requirements though both only target running the game at a solid 30 frames per second. You can find those requirements below along with the higher requirements for 4K HDR, though obviously downloading the benchmark will give you a clearer answer. Minimum requirements for 720p 30 frames per second, Intel Core i5 or an AMD FX 6100 with 8GB of RAM, a GTX 760 or an R9 280. Moving to Mac settings, it requires an i7-7700, AMD Ryzen 5 1600X, 16GB of RAM, and an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1080 Ti. Our fourth piece of news comes from IGN as well, where they say Kaz Hirai stepping down as Sony CEO. Ken Yoshida steps up. Kaz Hirai will step down as Sony CEO after a successful 6-year reign. The move was proposed by Hirai himself, who will take on a new role as chairman. It follows the departure of PlayStation CEO Andrew House last October. During his time as CEO, Hirai instituted the One Sony strategy, which saw the company sell off its Vaio laptop business, revamp its TV business, and prioritize its gaming division. The PlayStation business has been credited with revitalizing Sony's business, with huge hardware sales driving increasing profits for the company as a whole. Two quotes from Hirai says, "Ever since my appointment as president and CEO in April 2012, I have stated that my mission is to ensure Sony continues to be a company that provides customers with kando, to move them emotionally, and inspires and fulfills their curiosity. To this end, I have dedicated myself to transforming the company and enhancing its profitability, and am very proud of that now. In the third and final year of my current mid-range corporate plan, we are expecting to exceed our financial targets, and it excites me to hear more and more people enthuse that Sony is back again." Starting April 1st, current Sony CFO Ken Yoshida will take on the role. Now, this is from me, not IGN, but for those who are curious, Ken Yoshida is, I do not believe, related to PlayStation CEO or President Shuhei Yoshida. And to give a little bit more importance to Kaz Hirai's role as Sony CEO, before his current plan started, the only real profitable section of Sony was its gaming division. And thanks to him, Sony as a whole, not just their gaming division, is starting to be more profitable. Before we get to our last piece of news, I encourage everyone to please subscribe, like, and leave a comment below on your thoughts of this news video format and all of the news that we've had today. Thank you to everyone who has supported here on YouTube and on patreon.com/GameOverJesse to help us reach over 54,000 subscribers. And thank you to the 900 awesome fans who have joined my Discord group. Finally, we end with sources saying Microsoft is looking to purchase some large gaming companies, in the same way Disney has purchased Marvel, Star Wars, and Fox. Microsoft is apparently trying to do the same in the gaming industry. This news comes from Metro and the headline reads, "Microsoft looking to buy EA claims industry rumors." Electronic Arts are the biggest third-party video game publisher in the world, with over 8,000 employees and revenues of almost $5 billion. But there's always a bigger fish, and if rumors are true, Microsoft could be looking to make EA their next purchase. The rumors were started by website Polygon, and framed by Microsoft's puzzling lack of exclusive games for the Xbox One, which may have been blamed for the fact that, worldwide, it is currently being outsold 2-1 by the PlayStation 4. This has been a problem for years now, and yet Microsoft has done very little to either set up new studios or sign up exclusive deals. In fact, that they've tended to do the opposite, closing down Fable makers Lionhead Studios and cancelling Platinum Games Scalebound. Scalebound would have been awesome. It continues, considering how long it takes to form a new studio or make a new game, their only real option, unless they just don't care about exclusives, is to buy something that already exists. But until now, no one ever imagined that would include a company as big as EA. The two American companies have always worked very closely together though, so closely in fact that many suspect EA actively encouraged the always online features the Xbox One so disastrously revealed at its launch in 2013. Polygon names its source as someone that is close to Microsoft, but Xbox boss Phil Spencer has recently been hinting at acquiring companies as well. EA would cost around $35 billion to acquire, but since Microsoft has a war chest of around $130 billion, recently boosted by Donald Trump's bizarre tax cuts for the rich, the ideal isn't as crazy as it sounds, especially as EA already have a very healthy and highly profitable company. Other companies suggest as possible acquisition targets, but apparently with not such reliable sources, are Steam owners Valve and PUBG Corp, the makers of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, neither of which are exactly modest purchases either. There's currently zero evidence for any of this, but Microsoft's predicament and the ways of it are clear for everyone to see. Whether they really will buy EA, only time will tell. But if they do, it means that games including FIFA, Madden NFL, Battlefield, Need for Speed, Dragon Age, Mass Effect, and The Sims will all become Xbox, and by extension, PC exclusives. Microsoft would also gain exclusive access to the Star Wars video game license, including Battlefront and whatever other games EA currently has in development. And that's it for this video. As I said earlier, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment below to let me know your thoughts on this format. If you really want to help support this channel, head over to patreon.com/GameOverJesse, where you can give suggestions or topics for new videos, questions to be answered on the podcast, receive shoutouts, and much more. Also, if we missed any news that you are excited about, please leave it in the comments below so everyone else can be as informed as you are. Until next time, thank you for watching.